The night was quiet in the desert town of Redstone. The wind moved softly across the dry sand, carrying the smell of dust and old memories. Most people were asleep, but one man was still awake. Ethan Cole, a 32-year-old engineer who loved to fix things no one else cared about. He lived on the edge of town in a small house filled with tools, wires, and old machines. The garage light stayed on late almost every night. He repaired anything: radios, tractors, drones, even old generators from the military days. He had a sharp mind, but a simple life. No big city dreams, no family around, just him and his work. That night, as he adjusted a broken drone motor, something strange happened. The air outside began to vibrate, like a storm was coming, but there were no clouds. The light in the garage flickered once, twice, then went out completely. Ethan stepped outside with a flashlight. The desert stretched quiet under the stars. Then he saw it, a bright streak of light falling from the sky. It wasn't a shooting star. It was slower, burning blue and leaving a strange trail that hummed. The object crashed beyond the ridge, maybe 2 kilometers away. There was a dull boom, followed by silence. Ethan's heart raced. He grabbed his jacket, tools, and a small backpack. Curiosity was stronger than fear. He had seen aircraft crashes before, old military training accidents, but this looked different. The light was, alive somehow. He drove his dusty pickup toward the site. The headlights bounced over dry hills until he reached a smoking crater. His engine cut off by itself, as if the air around the crater drained all power. He stepped out slowly. The ground was hot under his boots. In the center lay something metallic, smooth, silver, and curved like liquid frozen in motion. It was about the size of a small car, partly buried in sand. Sparks danced around it, and blue energy lines pulsed across the surface. Ethan blinked. "What in the world?" he whispered. Then something moved. A panel opened, releasing a hiss of steam. From inside, a figure crawled out. Not human. The being was slender, covered in a suit that shimmered like glass. Its eyes glowed faintly, large and bright as moons. When it saw Ethan, it froze, raising a trembling hand. Ethan raised both his hands slowly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The creature tilted its head. A soft, melodic voice came from a small device on its chest, translating words into broken English. "Power lost. Damage. Help needed." Ethan's fear turned into wonder. An alien, real and right in front of him, asking for help. He stepped closer. "You're hurt?" The alien shook its head slowly. "No. System hurt. Ship broken. Need energy core fixed." Ethan took a deep breath. He didn't fully understand, but he could feel the sincerity in its voice. "Okay," he said. "I'm good with machines. Let me see what I can do." The alien blinked, its eyes softening. "You help?" "Yeah," Ethan said with a half smile. "Let's fix your ship." He walked around the strange craft, studying every surface. The design was seamless. No bolts, no panels like human ships. It looked grown instead of built. The alien, who introduced herself as Leora, watched him closely. Her movements were slow, graceful, but full of caution. She explained through the translator that she was a scout sent to study this region of space. Her ship hit a storm in the upper atmosphere and lost control. Ethan opened his tool bag and began testing. His instruments went crazy. The energy field was unlike anything he'd seen. Clean, smooth, self-repairing. He smiled in disbelief. "Whoever built this knows more about engineering than our whole planet." Leora tilted her head, curious. "Your people build with metal and heat. We build with light and mind." He looked at her surprised. "Light and mind?" "Energy shaped by thought," she replied. "Difficult to explain in your words." Ethan didn't fully understand, but he could see one thing clearly. Her ship's power core was cracked. The energy pulsing through it was unstable. He would have to create a bypass system, something to keep power flowing evenly until it could heal itself. He rolled up his sleeves. All right, I think I can patch this up. But I'll need parts, metal, conductors, and maybe a few power cells from my workshop. Leora nodded slowly. I wait. Good, Ethan said, then hesitated. You'll be safe here? She looked up at the stars, her expression unreadable. No signals, they cannot find me yet. Who's they? Ethan asked, but she didn't answer. Back at his garage, Ethan worked fast. He grabbed spare circuits, copper wire, and a portable battery pack. He had no idea what kind of alien tech he was dealing with, but the challenge excited him. When he returned to the crater, the night was darker. The moon had disappeared behind clouds. Leora was waiting silently, her glowing eyes watching every step. Ethan began connecting wires and adjusting the damaged core. Each time he touched the ship, a soft vibration passed through his hands, almost like the ship was alive and responding to his thoughts. This thing's amazing, he whispered. Leora knelt beside him. You fix things. You have gift. Ethan smiled faintly. I've been fixing things my whole life. Guess it finally matters. Hours passed. The desert grew colder. Ethan's fingers were numb, but he didn't stop. He adjusted circuits, linked power lines, and finally sealed the core with a layer of alloy. When he activated the energy link, the blue light stabilized. The ship hummed softly, steady and alive again. Leora stood and placed her hand on the hull. It lives. Ethan leaned back, exhausted but proud. Yeah, looks like your ship's breathing again. She looked at him with something close to wonder. No one of your kind should know how to do this. You are different. Ethan shrugged. Just a guy who hates broken things. The two of them sat near the glowing ship for a while. The translator device hummed quietly as they spoke. Leora told him a little about her world, Valeris, a place of floating cities and endless skies. Her people were explorers, traveling through wormholes and energy storms to map new civilizations. Ethan listened like a child hearing fairy tales. He told her about Earth, the deserts, oceans, wars, and kindness of people trying to survive. When he mentioned that humans sometimes destroy what they love, Leora grew quiet. Your species fights itself, she said softly. But still, you build. That is rare. Yeah, Ethan said, smiling weakly. We're stubborn that way. Then the ship emitted a soft pulse of light. Leora's eyes widened. Signal sent, she said quickly. They will hear it. Ethan frowned. Who's they? My fleet, she said, standing. They will come, but they may not understand your help. What do you mean? She looked at him seriously. My mission was to observe only. I was not to speak, not to make contact. You helped me. That breaks our laws. Ethan stood too. Wait, they'll punish you for that? Perhaps, she said, looking at the sky. Or perhaps they will punish you. A chill passed through Ethan's chest. The night suddenly felt heavier. How soon before they get here, he asked. She looked at the stars again. Hours, maybe less. They will not come small. They travel with ships, large, bright, strong. Ethan swallowed hard. Cruisers? She nodded slowly. He looked at his repaired work, at her ship now glowing steadily. Then we should leave, he said. If they think I did something wrong, she shook her head. You cannot hide from them. They will find you. They find everything. Ethan took a deep breath. Then maybe you can explain what happened. Tell them I helped you. I will try, she said, her voice soft. But they will see only a rule broken. They will not see kindness. The ship's energy field grew brighter, lighting the whole crater in a pale blue glow. The wind began to rise, carrying sand and dust around them. Ethan squinted toward the sky, feeling his heart race. Above, 3 faint lights had appeared, not stars, but moving ships. He looked at Leora. That them? She nodded. Yes. The lights grew larger. 3 massive shapes slowly came into view, dark against the night sky, their undersides lined with shining lights. The ground trembled. Ethan whispered, "They found us." Leora looked at him with sadness and gratitude. "Whatever happens, know this, and you showed what your kind can be." Then the 3 alien cruisers descended lower, silent and enormous, blocking out the stars. The desert lit up like dawn. Ethan stood there, dust swirling around him, watching the sky fill with alien fire. He had no weapon, no plan, only the memory of a simple act of kindness that might now change the fate of his entire world. The desert was quiet again, but now the silence was heavy, almost alive. The 3 alien cruisers hovered above Redstone, casting immense shadows over the town. Their hulls reflected the moonlight like black mirrors. The ground trembled slightly with the energy radiating from their engines. Ethan stood next to Leora, feeling small and unprepared. "Ethan," Leora said softly, her voice carrying an unspoken warning. "They are close now. My fleet is not here for greetings." "I figured that out," Ethan muttered, swallowing hard. "But I can't just leave you out here. They'll see me too." "What do we do?" Leora's eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "We must show them you are helpful, that your actions were not harmful, but it is dangerous. They may not listen." Ethan's heart thumped. He had spent his life solving problems with tools and logic, not with diplomacy. Yet somehow he felt responsible for this alien scout, for her life and now perhaps for the fate of his planet. The cruisers slowly descended closer, and the vibration of their energy filled the air. Ethan could feel it through his bones. The town below had begun to stir. Lights blinked on in houses as people woke, drawn outside by the glowing ships above. Cars started, sirens wailed, and a sense of panic grew among the residents. Ethan took a deep breath. "Okay, we need a plan," he said. He looked at Leora. "You have any ideas?" She shook her head slightly. "My knowledge is of machines and exploration. I cannot predict what my leaders will do when they see a human." "Great," Ethan muttered. "I guess we're flying by the seat of our pants." He moved closer to her ship. Its smooth surface glowed softly, and tiny tendrils of energy hovered in the air. It was alive, almost as if it could understand him. He placed his hand on the hull. A warmth spread through his palm. "You fixed it," Leora said quietly. "Not just the ship." "You gave me life again," Ethan shrugged. "I just did what I could. I don't know what else to say." Her eyes, shining like small moons, held a look of gratitude he had never seen in a human or alien before. "Words are not enough. Actions show truth." Ethan felt a strange pride, but it was mixed with fear. "Yeah, actions. Right now I'm hoping actions are enough to keep us alive." The first cruiser hovered directly above the crater. A massive ramp extended downward, glowing with soft white light. The ground shook as the ship landed, kicking up sand and debris. 2 figures appeared, stepping out from the shadow of the ramp. Ethan squinted. They were taller than humans, their bodies covered in sleek armor-like suits that reflected the desert lights. Their heads were elongated, with glowing eyes and features that seemed both delicate and intimidating. One of them spoke. The translator on Leora's chest hummed and converted it into English. "Scout detected. Human involved. Explain presence and action." Ethan took a deep breath, trying to appear calm despite the fear pounding in his chest. I saw her crash. She was hurt. I helped her fix her ship." "That's it." The alien commander tilted its head. "Unplanned contact with a human. Breach of protocol. Justification required," Ethan swallowed. He had no formal words prepared, no treaties to quote. I didn't mean to interfere. I only wanted to help." Leora stepped forward, her voice soft but firm. "It is true. He helped me. No harm was done." The human showed kindness. The alien commander's eyes narrowed, scanning her for any sign of deceit. "Kindness is not recognized as sufficient reasoning. Behavior analyzed. Irregular." Ethan's stomach twisted. "So you're saying I'm in trouble?" "Human actions have consequences beyond immediate perception," the alien said. Its voice was calm but heavy. "Scout assisted. Human contributed. Evaluation of species initiated." Ethan blinked. "Evaluation? Me or humanity?" "Both," Leora replied. "They will determine your species' potential by observing actions." "You are the proof." Ethan's mind raced. He had spent his life tinkering with machines, building things, solving problems. He had never imagined that helping someone could put him at the center of a galactic evaluation. The second cruiser landed slowly, its engines glowing softly. Another group of aliens emerged, observing the humans and the ship with clinical precision. They carried devices that scanned the environment and emitted low hums. Ethan noticed one of them scanning him directly. The lights reflected in his eyes, showing data he could not comprehend. "This is really happening," he whispered to Leora. "Yes," she said. "They will judge your kind by what you do next." Ethan nodded. He took a step forward, his hands raised slightly to show no threat. "Then I guess I'll have to show them." The aliens were silent for a moment, studying him. Then the first commander spoke again. "Demonstrate human ingenuity. Prove value of species in action. Failure may lead to restriction of growth potential." Ethan's heart skipped. "Value in action," he repeated. "Right, I can do that." He looked around quickly, spotting a damaged communication array near the top of the ridge. Earth's signal towers were weak, and the fleet might interpret that as a lack of progress. He grabbed a spare circuit from his backpack. "I'll repair your communications," he said to Leora, "and show them humans can adapt." She tilted her head. "It will suffice, but you have little time." Ethan climbed the ridge carefully, keeping the glowing ships in sight. He worked fast, rewiring the damaged antenna, connecting spare batteries and reinforcing the structure. Sparks flew, but he ignored them, focused on the task. The aliens watched in silence. Leora hovered beside him, glowing softly. "Your kind is determined," she said. Ethan smirked, tired but proud. "Stubborn, too. We humans never give up when something matters." Finally, the antenna hummed to life. A weak but clear signal reached the sky. The cruiser's scanners confirmed the output. One of the alien commanders nodded subtly. "Human demonstrates resourcefulness," the first commander said. "Observation continues. Further proof required." Ethan climbed down, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Okay, I think that counts as 1 point." Leora laughed softly, a sound like wind chimes in the night. "You are clever. Perhaps more than your kind realizes." Ethan smiled faintly. "Thanks, I think." He looked at the 3 massive ships hovering above. "But this is only the start, isn't it?" Leora nodded. "They will test more. Decisions are not yours alone, but you have shown courage and intellect. That is rare among my people's observations." Ethan's mind whirled. Courage and intellect? He had only helped because he could not leave her there. But now it seemed that something as simple as kindness could be considered strength. The third cruiser moved closer, scanning not only him, but the surrounding desert. Ethan felt the energy in the air, a silent power that could crush a town if angered. His fingers itched toward his tools, a human instinct to fix, to create, to protect. "You believe in humans," Leora said quietly. "Even now." Ethan looked at her, then at the ships above. "I don't know if they'll believe in me," he said honestly. "But I'll show them we're more than just survival. We can think, we can create, we can care." The aliens remained still for a moment. Then one of the smaller ships above emitted a low hum, almost like acknowledgement. The lights on the cruisers pulsed and the desert seemed to breathe along with them. Ethan felt a surge of pride and fear all at once. This was bigger than he had ever imagined. Helping a stranger, an alien stranger, had put him at the center of something massive, something that could change humanity's place in the universe. "Ethan," Leora said softly, "your actions now are the seed of what your people might become." He blinked, feeling the weight of her words. The desert wind carried the smell of sand and metal. The night sky was alive with alien light. Somewhere above, decisions were being made that could alter the fate of Earth forever. Ethan took a deep breath. He could do nothing but stand tall and face the unknown. He had fixed her ship, he had shown human ingenuity. Now he had to prove humanity could rise to meet the stars. And somehow he felt a strange confidence, not because he had weapons or armies, but because he had chosen to help, because he had acted with courage and kindness. Above him, the alien cruisers hovered silently, observing, analyzing, judging. Ethan realized then that sometimes a single act, a simple choice to do good, could echo across the universe. The morning sun rose over Redstone, painting the desert in shades of orange and gold. But for Ethan, the beauty of the sunrise could not calm the storm of fear in his chest. The 3 alien cruisers still hovered above, casting enormous shadows that stretched across the town. Every movement they made seemed deliberate, controlled, and perfectly synchronized. Ethan stood next to Leora near the repaired alien ship, watching the cruisers with growing apprehension. They had spent the night trying to communicate, but the aliens were cautious and distant. Each ship emitted a low hum that resonated through the ground, making the air feel heavy, almost like a heartbeat. "They are observing," Leora said softly, her eyes glowing faintly. "Every movement, every thought. They measure all." Ethan ran a hand through his hair. "Measuring humans, huh? I hope they like what they see." "You do not understand," Leora said, her voice calm but firm. "They are not here to like or dislike. They will decide." Ethan's stomach twisted. "Decide what?" "Whether your people are worthy," she replied. "Your species can grow or be contained. They will judge by actions, by intelligence, by strength, and by courage." Ethan nodded slowly. He had always known humans were clever, resilient, and resourceful, but he had never imagined that these qualities would be judged on a cosmic scale. The first cruiser descended slowly, landing a few kilometers from Ethan's home. The ground trembled under its weight, causing dust to swirl in violent clouds. Military vehicles appeared from the town, but the humans had no way to communicate with the aliens. They stopped in awe and fear, weapons useless against the enormity of the ships. Ethan approached cautiously, his mind racing. "Okay, I need to do something. I can't just wait for them to decide our fate." Leora nodded. "You must show them humanity's strength, not in violence, but in intellect and courage. Show them we can rise above fear." Ethan looked at her, confusion and determination mixing in his chest. "Show them we can rise above fear, right? That's easy to say when giant ships are hovering over your house." Her eyes softened. "You have the ability. Trust yourself." A ramp descended from the first cruiser, larger and more imposing than any human vehicle Ethan had ever seen. Two figures emerged, their armor reflecting the desert light. They were tall, perhaps 3 meters in height, and their movements were precise and measured. Their glowing eyes scanned the surroundings, landing on Ethan. "You are the human responsible for interference," one of them asked through the translator device. The voice was calm but carried a weight of authority. Ethan raised his hand slightly. "Yes, I helped her, the scout. I didn't mean any harm." The alien commander tilted its head, analyzing him. "Interference detected. Potential risk assessed. Explain reasoning. I just couldn't leave her there," Ethan said, swallowing hard. "She was damaged. She needed help. I acted because it was the right thing to do." The aliens were silent for a moment, observing every gesture, every word. Ethan could feel their minds measuring him, probing his thoughts. Leora stood beside him, her glow soft and reassuring. "You speak truth," she said. "You acted from courage and empathy. This is rare among humans." Ethan nodded, but the doubt remained. Could simple kindness really convince beings so advanced that his species deserved respect? The second cruiser moved closer, landing with a soft tremor. From it emerged several more aliens, their appearance slightly different from the first group. They carried devices that scanned the environment, recording data at incredible speed. Ethan noticed one of them scanning him directly, lights flashing across his body like invisible needles. Leora whispered, "They measure potential. Not just for you, but for all humanity. They will decide if your species can rise or must be restricted." Ethan's chest tightened. "Restricted, you mean? Like trapped or worse?" She nodded slowly. "Perhaps. They value order above all. If they see chaos, they may prevent growth. But they may also reward ingenuity." Ethan's mind raced. He thought about Earth, its wars, its inventions, its people constantly adapting and surviving. Perhaps that was what the aliens needed to see, that humans could solve problems even in impossible situations. He turned to Leora. "Okay. We'll show them. I'll do something. Something that proves humans can think and act under pressure." She tilted her head.
"What will you do?"
Ethan scanned the desert. His eyes landed on a small town communications tower near the ridge. Its wiring was damaged, its signal weak. He had an idea. If I can repair that tower, they'll see humans can fix problems with limited resources. They'll see ingenuity and determination. Leora's eyes brightened. "Yes, that is proof. It will show humanity is capable of growth." Ethan set off toward the tower, carrying a bag of spare tools and circuits. The ground shook slightly with the cruiser's presence, but he ignored it. His mind focused on the task ahead: repair, adapt, survive. Climbing the ridge, Ethan worked fast. The wind whipped around him, carrying sand in sharp gusts, but he ignored it. His hands moved with practiced precision, connecting wires, reinforcing broken supports, and improvising with whatever materials he had. Sparks flew, but he kept going, guided by determination and the knowledge that his actions now mattered far beyond himself. The aliens watched silently, their glowing eyes unblinking. The larger cruiser's scanners recorded every movement, every decision he made. Ethan felt the weight of their gaze, but he didn't falter. "This is nothing new," he muttered to himself. "I fix broken things all the time, only now. It's not just a machine, it's proof of humanity." Finally, after hours of careful work, the communications tower flickered to life. A weak signal pulsed upward, reaching the orbiting cruisers. Lights on the ships confirmed the signal had been received. One of the alien commanders stepped forward. "Human demonstrates resourcefulness. Observation continues. Further actions required to measure potential fully." Ethan exhaled slowly, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Okay. One small step for humanity, I guess." Leora hovered beside him, her glow steady and warm. "You have shown intelligence, courage, and determination. They notice. That is rare." Ethan smiled faintly. "Thanks, I think." He looked up at the three massive cruisers. "But I know this is far from over." Suddenly the ground trembled again. A smaller ship detached from the third cruiser, hovering low and fast. A figure appeared, walking toward Ethan and Leora. Unlike the other aliens, this one carried a device that projected images in the air. Maps of the galaxy, schematics of planets, and data streams that Ethan could barely comprehend. "You are being evaluated," the alien said. "Your actions will determine whether your species is granted recognition or limitation." Ethan's heart raced. "Recognition or limitation? That's huge." The alien nodded. "Do not underestimate the weight of this moment. Your species is observed by many. Your actions now echo beyond your understanding." Ethan swallowed. "I get it. I have to prove we can rise above fear. We can think. We can act. We can care." The alien scanned him once more, then projected a holographic image of Earth's major cities, its deserts, oceans, and mountains. "Your species has potential. But potential is meaningless without action." Ethan glanced at Leora. "We'll show them." Her eyes softened. "You have courage. You may influence more than you know." Ethan felt a surge of determination. He had started the day repairing a crashed ship. Now he stood at the center of a cosmic evaluation, responsible not just for his life, but for humanity's future. The first cruiser lowered a small landing platform. From it emerged a machine unlike any Ethan had seen, a complex device with countless moving parts and glowing conduits. It was a test, he realized, a challenge. He approached it cautiously, analyzing its functions. Sparks, energy flows, and intricate mechanisms challenged every skill he had. But Ethan remembered Leora's words. "Show them humanity's strength, not in violence, but in intellect and courage." He began working, adjusting circuits, connecting energy lines, and repairing broken sections. Hours passed. The aliens observed silently, recording every adjustment, every decision. Ethan's hands were sore, his mind exhausted, but he refused to stop. Finally, the machine whirred to life. Energy pulsed through its conduits. Lights danced across its surface, and a harmonic tone filled the air. The alien observers nodded subtly, a sign of acknowledgement. "You have demonstrated adaptability and intelligence," the first commander said. "Your species shows promise." Ethan exhaled deeply, leaning against the machine. "Promise, huh? I'll take it." Leora hovered beside him, her glow steady and calm. "You have shown what your kind can do. This is only the beginning." Ethan looked up at the cruisers. They still hovered, massive and imposing, but he felt a strange confidence. Perhaps humanity could meet the stars after all. Above him, the alien fleet waited, silent and powerful. But for the first time, Ethan felt that the future was not entirely uncertain. He had acted with courage, intellect, and kindness, and somehow that was enough to earn a place in the galaxy's eye. The desert had quieted, though the shadows of the three alien cruisers still stretched across the sand like dark giants. Their presence had transformed Redstone from a sleepy town into the center of the universe's watchful gaze. Military helicopters hovered in the distance, but even their engines were drowned out by the low hum of the cruiser's energy fields. Ethan stood next to Leora, watching the immense ships, their surfaces glinting under the rising sun. He could feel the tension in the air, thick and almost tangible, like a weight pressing on his chest. "They are silent," Ethan said, his voice low. "Are they angry?" Leora's glowing eyes met his. Not anger, observation. They are assessing potential, intelligence, and courage. They watch not for emotion but for action. Ethan swallowed hard. "Potential, huh? I hope humans have enough to impress them." "You already impressed them with your ingenuity," Leora said softly. "But one individual is not enough. They will require more. The species must be displayed. In action." Ethan's heart skipped. "Displayed? You mean they're going to judge all of humanity?" "Yes," Leora replied. "They will observe our cities, your technology, your science, your creativity, and even your cooperation. You must help them understand that humans can rise to challenges without destroying themselves." Ethan exhaled slowly. "Well, that's a big task for a small guy like me." Leora tilted her head slightly. "Size does not matter. Your actions can guide them to understand your species." The first alien cruiser's ramp extended once again, and this time, more figures emerged. Their armor reflected the sunlight, bright and intimidating. The alien commander walked forward, their posture commanding attention. The translator device buzzed softly. "Human representative," the commander said. "You have demonstrated intelligence and courage. Further evaluation will now proceed. You will facilitate demonstration of your species' abilities. Failure may influence judgment." Ethan nodded, feeling the pressure of responsibility heavier than any tool he had ever carried. "All right. I guess it's showtime." The aliens scanned the surroundings, then gestured toward the town. Ethan realized what they expected. They wanted to see humanity in action, not just hear about it. They wanted to witness human problem-solving, teamwork, and ingenuity. Leora hovered beside him. "You must guide them, show cooperation and creativity. Humanity must speak for itself." Ethan nodded, setting his jaw. "Okay, we'll show them what humans can do." He first approached the local town leaders. Using Leora's translator, he explained the situation. The aliens needed to see coordinated human action. At first, the humans were frightened, but Ethan's calm and confident tone reassured them. Slowly, people emerged, bringing tools, vehicles, and supplies. Ethan divided the tasks. Some would help repair and reinforce communication networks. Others would demonstrate engineering projects, and a small team would assist in repairing infrastructure damaged by desert storms. Every action was carefully planned to showcase human creativity, adaptability, and cooperation. The aliens watched silently, their glowing eyes analyzing every detail. They recorded not only results but also the process, noting problem-solving methods, teamwork, and the ability to adapt when things went wrong. Ethan led the first demonstration, a complex repair of the town's water pump system. Desert storms had damaged the pipes and the pumps were offline. Ethan explained how humans could improvise, using limited resources to restore function. He worked side by side with townspeople, connecting pipes, reinforcing supports, and creating temporary solutions until the system hummed back to life. The water began flowing again and the desert soil drank eagerly. The alien observer's eyes glowed brighter, scanning the entire process. One of the commanders projected a holographic record of the repair, showing every step of the operation. "You display problem-solving skills under pressure," one alien said. "Creativity is evident. Cooperation is noted." Ethan exhaled quietly. "One down," he muttered to himself. "Many more to go." Next, he organized a demonstration of human engineering ingenuity. Using a combination of spare circuits, batteries, and basic robotics, Ethan and the townspeople built a small drone capable of surveying desert terrain and mapping obstacles. The alien observers were fascinated. They studied the drone's design, the way humans used available materials, and the clever methods to solve problems efficiently. "This is impressive," Leora said softly. "They are learning. They notice intelligence." Ethan smiled faintly. "Yeah, but we need them to see more than tools. They need to see our minds and our hearts." Ethan then coordinated a small rescue demonstration. They simulated a desert accident, with volunteers acting as stranded travelers. Using teamwork, humans built shelters, transported supplies, and organized evacuation routes. Each step was calculated but also spontaneous when problems arose, showing flexibility and quick thinking. The aliens observed every movement. They noted patience, courage, and adaptability. Even mistakes were considered, How humans recovered from failure showed resilience and learning capacity. Your species adapts and perseveres, one alien said. They learn from errors. That is rare. Ethan felt a small surge of pride. Finally, some recognition. By midday, the aliens had observed multiple demonstrations. Ethan realized they were looking for patterns. How humans cooperate, adapt, and solve problems creatively under pressure. He arranged one final task, a large-scale demonstration of coordinated action. He gathered the townspeople and organized a simulation, constructing a temporary communication relay using spare materials, while simultaneously repairing critical infrastructure and preparing for potential desert storms. Everything happened at once, testing humans' ability to multitask, prioritize, and innovate under real-world conditions. The aliens watched closely, their glowing eyes scanning every step. Ethan coordinated teams, solved problems on the spot, and encouraged people to remain calm and focused. When the relay came online, transmitting data to the hovering cruisers, the aliens projected a holographic map of the area, showing every action taken by humans. The efficiency, innovation, and cooperation impressed even the most critical of their observers. Finally, the alien commanders stepped forward. "Human representative," the translator buzzed. "Your species demonstrates creativity, intelligence, and courage. Adaptability is evident. Cooperation is evident. You act with understanding beyond immediate survival." Ethan felt relief mixed with awe. "So, we passed?" he asked cautiously. The alien commander's eyes glowed brighter. "Potential recognized. Observation continues. But we acknowledge that your species has capacity for growth and influence beyond its current state. Actions today will influence decisions in galactic forums." Leora hovered beside Ethan, her glow soft and warm. "You did it. They see what I have known. Humanity is capable, worthy of notice." Ethan smiled faintly, exhausted but proud. "We showed them what humans can do. Not just me. Everyone helped." "Yes," Leora said. "Cooperation, courage, and intelligence. That is the true strength of your species." The cruisers lifted slowly into the sky. Ethan watched as their massive shapes moved higher, their energy hum fading but still resonating in the desert air. Leora's ship pulsed gently as it prepared to depart. "Will they come back?" Ethan asked. "They will observe from afar," Leora replied. "Decisions take time, but humanity's actions today are remembered. Your species is acknowledged." Ethan nodded. "Acknowledged. That's a start." He looked around at the townspeople, exhausted but smiling. Together they had demonstrated human creativity, courage, and cooperation. Their small desert town had become a stage for a galactic evaluation, and they had passed with grace. Leora hovered beside him, touching the hull of her repaired ship. "Your actions have created a bridge. One simple choice to help has led to recognition." Ethan shook his head, amazed. "All I did was fix your ship." "Yes," Leora said softly. "And yet that act showed the universe the best of your kind." The desert wind swept across the dunes, carrying the hum of the departing cruisers. The sun reflected off the sand, warm and golden. Ethan realized that humanity had taken a small but important step toward the stars. The desert lay quiet under the rising sun, the shadows of the alien cruisers fading as they began to lift into the sky. Redstone, once a small, sleepy town, now felt alive with energy. The hum of the ship still resonated in the sand, reminding everyone that the universe was much larger than they had ever imagined. Ethan stood near the edge of the desert, watching the three massive cruisers slowly ascend. His chest still ached from fatigue, but his heart was lighter than it had been in years. He had done what he could, repaired Leora's ship, helped the town demonstrate human ingenuity, and now he had shown the aliens that humanity had potential. Leora hovered beside him, glowing softly. "Your species has been seen in a new light," she said. "The fleet will return, but not as a threat. They will watch and consider. Today humanity gained acknowledgement." Ethan smiled faintly. "Acknowledgement. That's something, I guess, but it still feels unreal." "It is real," she said, "because of your actions, your courage, and your willingness to help. You did what few would dare." He shook his head. "I just fixed a ship." "That's it. You fixed more than a ship," Leora replied. "You bridged worlds. You showed that humans can think, create, and care. That is rare, even among the stars." The cruisers had ascended higher, their forms smaller against the morning sky. One of them projected a holographic image of the desert town, showing the work that humans had done. Pipes repaired, drones deployed, shelters rebuilt, communication networks restored, all carefully recorded by the alien observers. Ethan walked closer to the town, seeing the people emerging from their homes. Their faces were tired but glowing with pride. They had taken part in something far beyond anything they had imagined, something that could influence the destiny of Earth. "Did we really impress them?" asked a young woman named Mara, a local engineer who had worked alongside Ethan. "I think we did," Ethan said, smiling. "We showed them what humans are capable of, and that's just the beginning." Meanwhile, the aliens in the closest cruiser were communicating among themselves. Leora translated softly. "They debate now. Some wish to share technology, some wish to observe longer, but all agree humanity is remarkable." Ethan's brow furrowed. "Remarkable, I mean, yeah, we try, but we're still just humans." "Exactly," Leora said. "Humans are small but resilient, creative, courageous. That is what makes your species valuable." The words sank into Ethan's mind. For the first time, he understood that it was not weapons or power or armies that defined humanity. It was ingenuity, cooperation, and courage, the ability to act even when the odds were overwhelming. Suddenly, one of the cruisers descended lower. A small shuttle detached and moved gracefully toward the desert. Its engines left no scorch marks, its movement silent and precise. Ethan watched as it landed softly near him and Leora. A ramp extended and a single figure emerged. Unlike the scouts and commanders he had seen before, this alien seemed less formal. Its eyes glowed warmly, and its body language was relaxed but confident. "Human," it said through the translator device. "You have acted beyond expectation. Your courage, intellect, and willingness to help have been noted. Your species will be granted a place in the Galactic Registry of Civilizations." "This is unprecedented," Ethan blinked. "A place in the Galactic what?" "The Registry," the alien explained. "It is a record of species capable of growth, cooperation, and innovation. Your actions today have demonstrated humanity's potential. You are now recognized as a species worthy of observation, guidance, and alliance." Ethan's mind reeled. "You mean, we're part of something bigger?" "Yes," the alien said. "Your planet, your people now exist in the knowledge of the wider galaxy. Your choices will influence interactions, trade, and collaboration. And you have contributed to that future." Leora hovered beside him, glowing softly. "Your actions, Ethan, opened a door. A single choice to help has changed everything." The alien handed Ethan a small device. "This is a token of recognition. It contains knowledge and coordinates for communication with allied species. Use it wisely. Share it only when trust is certain." Ethan took it carefully, awed by the small glowing object in his hand. I don't know what to say." "Say nothing," the alien replied. "Act, continue to build, learn, and inspire. That is enough." The shuttle lifted and rejoined the fleet above, the cruisers hovering in formation as the wind carried their hum across the desert. Ethan stood there, watching, feeling both small and incredibly important. He had started the day repairing a ship, and now he was part of something far larger than Earth itself. As the cruisers disappeared into the sky, Ethan turned to Leora. "So, this is it? We're recognized?" "Yes," she said softly. "You and your species have shown what is possible. But remember, recognition is only the beginning. You must continue to prove your worth not just to them, but to yourselves." Ethan nodded slowly. He thought about his life, the tools, the machines, the late nights in his garage. All of it had led to this moment. He had acted from kindness, courage, and intelligence, and now the universe knew of humanity. "I guess we'll have to keep doing what we do best," he said. "Think, create, adapt, and care." Leora smiled faintly. "Exactly. That is the essence of humanity. That is what makes you remarkable." Back in the town, the people gathered to discuss what had happened. They talked about the aliens, the demonstrations, and the possibilities that lay ahead. No one fully understood the scale of what had occurred, but they felt the pride and hope that Ethan carried. "You know," Mara said, laughing lightly, "we might be famous across the galaxy someday." Ethan chuckled. "Famous? Maybe, but I hope they remember what got us here. Teamwork, courage, and just helping someone in need." "That's humanity, right?" Mara said, smiling. small actions. Big impact, Ethan nodded. Exactly. And if we keep acting that way, there's no telling how far we can go. As night fell, Ethan returned to his garage. The tools and machines looked the same as always, but he felt different. He had seen the universe from a new perspective, learned that courage and kindness mattered on a cosmic scale, and understood that humanity's strength lay not just in numbers or power, but in creativity, intelligence, and empathy. He touched the small device the aliens had given him, feeling the glow pulse softly in his hand. It was a reminder, a promise, that humans were no longer alone in the galaxy. There were friends, allies, and unknown worlds waiting. Leora hovered nearby, preparing to depart. I must return to my people, she said softly. But know this, Ethan. Your actions will echo far beyond this desert. Humanity now has a place among the stars. Ethan watched her disappear into the night sky, feeling both proud and humble. He had started as just an engineer fixing a broken ship. Now he was a symbol of humanity's potential. The stars above twinkled, vast and endless, yet somehow closer now. Ethan smiled, thinking of the future, a future where humans could rise to challenges, meet the unknown, and show courage, creativity, and compassion to the universe. And for the first time, he truly believed that humanity could meet the stars, and maybe, just maybe, leave a mark among them.